Luckily, traffic is on my side, and I arrive a few minutes earlier than anticipated. Nikki waits for me beneath a street lamp a few feet away from the bus stop. I can make out Ken's dark mop of hair beside her. It's a little strange that she's not under the bus awning. And what's Ken doing there? Nikki straightens up as I slow down. Flecks of blood stains her clothes and dark bruises mark her skin. Ken steps into the light to greet me, and I wince when I see him. His left eye and cheek is puffy and starting to turn purple. Blood drips down his face from a cut at his temple. He must have tried to clean it because his forehead is smeared with streaks of red. What the hell happened here? I park my bike and rush over to them. Nikki throws her arms around me and hugs me tightly.
So glad you're here.
Oh my god, Nikki. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're bleeding.
No, the blood's not mine.
Is it Ken's?
No.
You look like hell. He tries to smile, then dabs at his swollen lip. His fingers now stained with fresh blood. He holds himself stiffly and leans on the lamppost for support.
He saved me from those guys.
What guys?
I don't know. There was a group of them. 3, I think, waiting for the bus. And when they showed up, they started saying all these things about me. They were being so gross and creepy, but I tried to ignore them because I figured the bus would be there soon and it wouldn't matter. And then one of the guys tried to put his arm around me, freaked out. I guess I pushed him and he got really angry. And then the other guy grabbed me and...
My blood runs cold. He what? Did he hit you? Are you hurt?
No.
Nikki's voice trembles and her eyes glitter with tears. I'm about to pull her back into a hug when Ken slips his hand into hers and squeezes.
Ken intervened before anything could have happened.
She glanced at Ken, smiling broadly.
He came barreling out of the bookstore, screaming at that guy to let me go, and then he punched him right in the face.
I would have done the same.
The guy was super angry, and he and his friends ganged up on him.
How did you get your bruises then? She frowns.
I tried to stop them from ganging up on Ken.
So what? What were you thinking joining the fight? You could have been seriously injured. Nikki sets her jaw.
There was no way I was going to let Ken fight them alone. Especially not when this fight only happened because of me.
I'm too stunned by her outburst to reply. Of course, I'm not pleased that she put herself in danger, but a part of me is also a little proud.
But I didn't really need to help.
I raise an eyebrow.
Ken beat 2 of them up by himself. The 3rd one had to help them up so they could escape.
What? I look skeptically at Ken. I wouldn't say he's scrawny, but he's no muscle man either. Ken shifts nervously. I think I still make him uncomfortable. Good. I should.
I have some experience with martial arts.
What do you mean, some experience? You're a 2nd dan black belt.
He's a what? I certainly was not expecting that. You threw yourself in harm's way to protect Nikki?
Of course.
Ken maintains eye contact and answers with conviction. Nikki blushes.
Anyway, I told Ken he should go back inside, but he refused.
It's not safe for her to wait alone.
He's not wrong. Kiddo, he's not wrong on this one. I take another look at Ken. Respect? No way he fought off 3 guys alone. I should have been here. Well, for when all this has happened, sure, I know we have that guilt that we should have been here, absolutely, but we couldn't have known. I could believe he totally took on 3 guys by himself. But, mad respect, he just defended my sister. There's a fire in his eyes I'd never noticed before. When he looks at Nikki, he isn't that timid kid trembling in his boots. He looks like someone who's willing to move mountains. I meet his eyes and nod. Thanks for being there for her. He blinks in surprise, but nods back.
I only did what anyone would have done.
Don't be so modest. You were amazing out there.
Ken shrugs awkwardly, then winces in pain. Are you sure you're okay, though? Maybe we should take you to the hospital. He shakes his head.
I'm fine. Nothing's broken.
I look him over. I don't know about that.
I told him we should call an ambulance, but he refused.
I promise, I'm okay. I'm sorry for causing you such trouble.
This is one of those rare times I wish my bike could fit more people. Do you at least have a ride home?
He let me call his brother to come pick him up.
We'll wait here with you until he arrives.
I appreciate the thought, but I would feel more at ease if you took Nikki home.
I insist. Offer to walk him back to the bookstore. No, I'm staying here. This is the least we can do. I'm here now. I can protect both of you. Nikki shakes her head.
What if they come back?
I know my brother will be here in a few minutes.
I can afford to wait a few minutes.
Me too.
I glance at the dimly lit bookstore. Is the bookstore still open? Maybe we can wait inside there.
They're probably in the middle of closing.
I'm sure your coworkers will let you back in. They're probably wondering what happened to you anyway.
You work there? Ken nods. Then let's definitely get you back inside. Realizing he's fighting a losing battle, Ken agrees.
Okay.
Nikki and I go to support him, but he manages to walk by himself. As we head into the bookstore, his coworkers rush out to help, each asking questions about what happened. Nikki and I sit with Ken as we wait for his brother to arrive. Nikki fusses over Ken, and he lets her. As I watch the two of them, I pay close attention to Ken. He's calm, respectful, and polite. But most importantly, he makes Nikki smile. Let Ken know you approve? I'm not convinced. Sit there and just pout of, yeah, so what? You fought 3 guys. That doesn't mean you get my approval. So what? You make her smile and bring her happiness. That disapproves on my part. I don't trust you. Of course, we let him know we approve. Hey, Ken, can I talk to you for a sec? He looks up at me with wide eyes, the very same expression that he wore the first time I met him. When we called him Yen. Wait, we didn't call him Yen. We call him Yen now.
Sure.
Amused, I lead him to a quiet area behind the shelves. I'm trusting you to take care of her. He blinks blankly before his eyes open wide again. As his face goes pink, he bows at a perfect 90-degree angle.
Of course. Thank you for your trust.
You don't have to bow. He returns to an upright position.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Sorry.
I glare at him and he shuts up. This is kind of fun. I think I may actually enjoy this turn of events. Okay, let's go back. Nikki bombards us with questions as we return.
What was that all about? Why wasn't I invited? Why did Ken bow?
Why are you asking so many questions? Yeah, Ken. Why did you bow? I grin devilishly at him, daring him to answer.
It's because he's, my senpai?
Good answer. I approve. Nikki stares at him blankly, then shifts her attention to me.
What did you do?
I acknowledged him. That's what Senpai does. Nothing at all. Isn't that right, Ken?
Of course.
You missed the Senpai part there at the end, Ken. Come on. Nikki pouts, but I can see the trace of a smile. I guess she's glad we're finally getting along. A few minutes later, Ken's brother shows up. He convinces Ken to go to the hospital and thanks us for our help. With Ken safe, we head home. Nikki lets out a huge breath when we step into the living room. Her face is unusually serious. She hangs her head and stares at her feet.
I'm so sorry.
Why?
If I hadn't gone to visit Ken, I wouldn't have lost track of time and stayed out so late, and then I wouldn't have gotten into this mess and made everyone worry.
Nikki, what happened wasn't your fault. She glances up at me.
But if I...
No, none of this is your fault. What happened is the fault of those guys, and if I ever found out who they are, I'm going to finish what Ken started. She smiles weakly and nods.
I think I'll go take a shower.
Good, I'm going to go prep Eagle for murder mode. Sure. As soon as Nikki goes upstairs, Kaito pops his head out of the kitchen.
Is Nikki gone?
Yeah? He pauses and gives me another look.
Did something happen?
I debate telling Kaito about the incident, but I don't want him to needlessly worry. He looks like he has something else on his mind. It's fine. What's up?
I heard back from the PI.
What did he say?
Ezra Wilson.
The drunk driver?
Yeah, what do you really know about him?
Let's see. He and Dad used to work together at Midori Energy. They were on every project together, and he used to come to the house all the time while we were growing up. I thought he and Dad were friends. My voice trails off. His blood alcohol was far over the legal limit. It's not like the cops could ask him about it due to his coma, nor was there any evidence which indicated this was more than a cut-and-dry drunk driving accident. There was no incentive to investigate further, so that was all that was listed in the report.
Well, it turns out Ezra was stalking your father.
I frown. That doesn't make sense. They saw each other every day at work. Why?
The PI read about a huge fire at Midori Energy the week before your parents' accident. He spoke to a few people and found out that the fire destroyed important documents which contained all the research for Midori's latest project.
I rack my brain. I think I might remember hearing something about that fire.
The documents which were destroyed was your father's and Ezra's research.
Dad's research? I tried to recall Dad right before the accident. He seemed a little more worried than usual, but otherwise didn't give any indication that something was amiss. Shouldn't he have been devastated by something like losing years of research? Was he trying to protect me, or was something else going on?
Ezra didn't take the loss well. Right after the fire, Ezra accused your father of purposely sabotaging him by setting their research on fire.
Dad wouldn't do that. It was his research too.
Right. It didn't make sense. Nobody believed him and they chalked up his breakdown to stress. But he wouldn't let it go. He accosted your father many times at work demanding answers. It got so bad that he was assigned a leave of absence by the company. On the day of the accident, your parents had lunch at a cafe.
And Nikki called them asking for a ride. Yeah, I remember.
The PI asked the waitstaff if they remembered seeing your parents there, and they did. Ezra too.
He was there?
Yeah, he'd followed them there and was already clearly intoxicated. He demanded that they pay him all the money he would have made upon completion of the project.
He said your father owed them.
Obviously, your father refused and continually maintained his innocence. Ezra became so disruptive, the manager had to forcibly remove him from the cafe.
Your parents seemed shaken but tried to finish their meals as if nothing happened.
That's when they received the call from Nikki.
And I guess Ezra tried to tail them but ended up running them off the road. Kaito nods, looking more grim than ever. Something doesn't add up. What research is important enough to kill over? And if Ezra was driven to madness after losing his life's work, why was Dad barely affected? Then there's the convenient timing of Akira's copycat core. How much time has passed since the accident? Since the fire? Enough for the company to piece together just enough of the research to turn a profit? Uncle Kaito? He looks at me. I think the research that killed Dad has to do with my core. He hesitates, then nods slowly.
You might be right.
Wasn't there an encrypted piece that Valerie wasn't able to unlock? Maybe that can help make sense of all of this. I need to take another look. I need to go look at my core. Uncle Kaito doesn't try to stop me.
You do what you need to do.
Just be safe. Thanks, Uncle Kaito. I'm having one long day, that's for sure. For the second time today, I race to the garage and hop back on my bike. Then I drive to Ace. The campus feels even more empty than usual. Even though it's after hours, I have no trouble swiping into the hangar. It's all quiet except for the sounds of my footsteps. I cannot get to Eagle fast enough. As soon as I do, I plop down at the terminal and boot up the computer. I follow the instructions Valerie left for me, and I'm greeted by the password prompting screen she showed me earlier. She said there was a hint here. Let's see what it says. The screen is a scrambled mess of words with no rhyme or reason to them. I read through a couple of times, making sure my eyes don't skip any words. Most of these words mean nothing to me, but a select few stand out. Cricket, Moo, Sir Hopsalot. Those were childhood nicknames Dad gave me. Each one of them has a story, but none of them were very long-lived. The ultimate nickname that stuck with me for an embarrassingly long time was Meatball, because when I was born, my cheeks were big and round like meatballs. Dad's favorite story to tell was the time I started school. The teacher called Sylar for roll call, and I stayed silent, so she marked me absent. After she'd gone through the list of names, I said she didn't call mine. She asked if my name was Sylar, and I responded with, "No, my name is Meatball." I've been called Meatball at home for so long that I didn't even know my real name. That must be the answer. I apprehensively type in Meatball into the password prompt. My finger hovers over the enter key before pressing it. The prompt disappears, and a video pops up on the screen. My breath catches in my throat as Dad looks straight into the camera. There are dark circles under his eyes and worry lines around his mouth. His hair sticks up at odd angles, and his clothes are smudged with dirt and oil. He notices the recording light is on and tries to fix himself up a bit before giving me a weak smile.
The fact that you are watching this now means something must have gone wrong.
He sighs, and his voice grows thick. I'm not crying. You're crying.
I'm sorry.
I try to swallow the lump in my throat and ignore the sting of tears in my eyes. This isn't the Dad I remember. The Dad I remember had a booming laugh which took up the room. He was sure of himself and never had regrets.
By putting this technology in Eagle, I have potentially endangered you. But I don't know where else I can keep it safe. Midori Energy doesn't fully understand the scope of this research. They're willing to sell it to anyone without considering the consequences. Companies which would weaponize this technology will cause irreparable damage. They could create energy explosions 13 times the force of a nuclear bomb.
He sets his jaw and lifts his gaze back towards the camera. His eyes are unusually steely and cold.
That's why I caused the fire. I burned all copies of my research to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands.
But Dad runs his hands through his hair, a gesture he would do whenever he was stressed or worried.
It's hard to completely destroy 20 years of research. Especially when this technology could bring so much good. The possibilities would have been endless. This new format of energy may function similarly to existing methods, but the fundamental principles are vastly different and have far wider scalability implications.
A shadow of his old self returns while he talks, and I catch a glimpse of a genuine smile. Dad was always a bit of a dreamer. Then his face becomes grim.
And that is why this core is sitting in Eagle now.
His piercing gaze stares straight into my soul.
I'm sorry for getting you involved. I'm sorry I couldn't follow through with what I started. But most of all, I'm sorry I wasn't able to tell you this in person.
His eyes look glassy and glitter too much beneath the light.
I probably don't say this enough, but I'm so proud of who you've grown up to be. I know, if you're watching this, that I've put a heavy burden on your shoulders, but I trust you will make the right decision. My only hope is that you can find it in your heart to forgive me.
Dad glances behind him. Something must have spooked him because when he faces the camera again, he smiles feebly and his voice is quiet.
Take care of your sister. Goodbye, son.
The video cuts off abruptly. At first, I'm too stunned to move. The image of Dad is seared into my eyes. He was the same, yet so unfamiliar. As his face slowly fades away, I'm surprised to feel wetness on my cheeks. He knew. He knew exactly what he was doing when he hid this technology inside of Beagle. Now I understand why I wasn't allowed to help program the core. I understand why Dad seems almost obsessive about completing Eagle. It also makes sense why I never noticed a difference between this core and any other core. Dad never matured the technology. But he must have set up the overdrive configuration probably not long before he set the overdrive to only happen once, so I'd begin to search for answers. His last words ring in my mind. Goodbye, son. I'm not crying. You're crying. And that's okay. We can cry together. He knew the implications of his research and entrusted it all to me through the gear we built together. I glance over at Eagle, partially obscured by shadows. The darkened blue no longer seems warm and inviting like the salty spray of the ocean, but feels dangerous and cold like a winter sky. I try to bring up the video once more so I can hear his voice one more time. See his face, even though it's not the one I want to remember. But I can't. It was a one-time initiation. As I try to process the situation, I don't know what to feel. I recall Dad's hollow cheeks and the shadow of pain in his eyes. Of one thing I am certain. I cannot keep using the core knowing all this. But what will I do about the research? Destroy it all, or keep it protected? He does say, though, it will do some good. As tempting as it is to destroy it all in anger, he does think it will do some good, and maybe I need to keep it protected till I find the place where it can be used for good. Sometimes Dad thought too much about the big picture and forgot about the details. He wanted to create a better future for us and was willing to die to make his dreams a reality. If only he could have seen the future we wanted was one with him in it. I don't want Dad's sacrifice to have been in vain. I want him to achieve his dream. I climb up the ladder beside Eagle and open the cockpit. Then I key in the sequence, which unlocks the panel protecting my core. Like a beating heart, it gives off a faint pulse of energy. I open the terminal screen in my cockpit and find the source information for my core. After collecting all the schematics and data into a drive, I set an impossible run instance. The low glow continues to brighten more and more. After a zapping noise, it becomes an opaque object. As far as anyone would know, the core short-circuited. This technology belongs with a company who will utilize it properly. Until I know who that is, I'll keep it safe with me and not bring any more attention to it. After learning all that I have, I can't keep using it as a leg up against the competition. Eagle will use a regular core from now on. As I stand there, I suddenly feel so tired and so lost. Without thinking, I pull out my phone and dial the first name that comes to mind.
Oh, hi. Sorry it took me so long to answer. I was a little surprised you called.
Sorry to bother you, Mayu, but do you think we could meet?
Is everything okay?
It must sound weird because the worry immediately creeps into her voice. Honestly, I don't know. I just found out something huge about my parents and my core.
Oh, okay. Where would you like to meet?
I can come to you. She pauses. Mayu?
I'm in my room.
Oh. I'm not sure how to ask if I can go up there without sounding like I have ulterior motives. Luckily, I don't have to.
If you want to come here, that would be okay.
Are you sure?
Yes.
She doesn't even hesitate.
I mean, yes.
Thanks, Mayu. I'll be there soon. We hang up the phone. As if in a daze, I make my way towards her dorm. Mayu greets me at her building's entrance. Her smile falters when she sees me and furrows her brows. Well, now we finally see her room, and she's got a nice room. We don't speak as she leads me to her room. I sit around the couch and look around the room as Mayu joins me. This dorm definitely isn't like any others. Not only is this couch plush and comfortable, she also has a fireplace and a kitchenette. It feels more like a studio than a dorm room. Mayu blushes.
Sorry for the mess.
Everything is neatly arranged on all surfaces and her floors are spotless. You have a really nice room.
Thanks. It's smaller than my room back home, but I still prefer this one. I like how cozy it is. Even though the dorm belongs to Ace, this room somehow still feels more like mine than my room at home ever did.
I spot the manga novels lining her shelves and little fantasy figurines she must have painted. I'm sure her father would not have allowed that in her room back home. I'm glad she's found a place where she can express herself. She glances curiously at my hand.
What are you holding?
I looked down and barely registered my clenched hand. That's right. Opening my hand, I show her the drive. She cocks her head to the side. It's the data to my core.
What are you doing with it?
Just storing it for now. She pauses.
Okay, but what about when you're done storing it?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. She fixes me, her big doe eyes at me. I recount everything I've learned so far. Mayu lets me talk, and my story comes out in a non-chronological mess. Every so often, she would nod to let me know she was still listening, but otherwise, she did not interrupt. Once I'm done, she looks down.
That's awful. I don't know what I would have done if I were you.
Maybe I acted too quickly. She looks up again.
No!
I blink at her outburst.
You did what was right, which was really brave of you.
Then how come it still feels like I was wrong? She places a sympathetic hand on my arm.
Because that decision is a hard burden to bear, and I'm sorry you had to be the one to make it.
Somehow, her words make me feel a little bit lighter. I hadn't realized how anxious I was about what I'd done until someone validated my decision. I look away. I'm sorry. I guess I'm not that fun to be around right now. She shakes her head.
It's okay. You're going through a lot. I can't imagine what I'd do if I were in your shoes. I know it's hard to have one image of your father, and suddenly that image is cracked to reveal a new person underneath.
I just keep wondering, what if he'd told me? Maybe he'd still be alive.
You mustn't think like that. I know I'm probably the last person to tell you that, because I'm always thinking about all the ways my life could have turned out differently. Focusing on your father's death and wondering if he'd be alive is dangerous. If you aren't careful, you'll be stuck in the same moment forever, and it'll consume you until you forget about your own life.
She looks at her feet.
It must be hard to have your dad taken away from you so suddenly, but that's a fact that can never be changed.
I know, but still. My voice trails off. What am I even trying to say? Mayu smiles gently and leans close to me.
He loved you very much.
How can you be so sure?
That video he left you, he knew you would find it.
She seems so sure of her answer. Her soft smile warms me from the inside and soothes my aching heart. Her quiet gentleness is a strength in itself, and with her support, I can feel the pain and fear ease. She's right. I know Dad loved me and Nikki, and this event shouldn't change my mind about that. He was only doing what he thought was best to protect me, and no matter how much I wish he would, he can never come back. I pull Mayu into a hug. Thank you. I don't know what I would do without you. She blushes deeply and looks up at me. As if drawn to her, I lean in and let my lips gently brush against hers. She blinks in surprise, then quickly melts into the kiss. As we pull away, I gaze deeply into her eyes. In this moment, I have clarity. It rinses away all my stress and fears. It's okay that I don't have all the answers now, because I'm looking at my future. And it is beautiful. And that is Ace Academy. Wow, that is quite a roller coaster there. As the credits roll here, that ending and that right there is adorable. I'm gonna pause my thought for that, and holy crap, was that cute. But that ending hits you right in the feels. And I hope you guys did enjoy this journey on Ace Academy. If you did, let me know in the comments down below and by hitting that like button. As always, if you are new to the channel or have not done so already, Make sure to unleash your power by hitting that subscribe button down below today as well. And I'm just going to let the credits play on out. We have several other routes that we can go through as well. I'm thinking maybe Cowrie next. So stay tuned for the next route of Ace Academy. Once again, I do hope you enjoyed. And I will see all you heroes in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. May the Force be with you. And have a great rest of your day as these credits roll on out. Take care. You guys are still here? That's okay. I am too. Stuck around to the end of the credits. It's what you do when something's done. What the? Still here? There's nothing else. This isn't a Marvel movie where you get a special hidden teaser. I don't believe it, because otherwise it would have kicked me back to the main screen already. I get the feeling I just set an expectation that we will have something after all of this text. Dishu Senpai. I know what you're doing. Look, I got nothing, so stop trying, okay? Just press escape or right-click on that mouse button and be on your merry way. I want to left-click. Why it gotta be right? Really? Still here? Uh-huh. Okay. Maybe I might have something to share. Are you ready? Yeah. Here goes. Okay, that's pretty epic. Ace Academy Supernova. Sorry, that's not actually a thing. Though I will say that mock reveal somehow ended up looking pretty cool. Lol. And as always, if you want to see what PixelFade is up to, check them out at pixelfade.com, support them down at Patreon or on Steam. Links to those, as always, will be in the description down below. Thanks again for playing, and thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Hold that thought. I'm having an inner thought of, hold on. Game's not done yet. Did you really just end the game like that? Yes? No. Not acceptable. We're sorry. I don't believe you. Ace is a crowd-funded project, and we did our best given our resources. They did. Actually, the length ended up almost twice as long than what we initially planned. We stretched out as long as we could. So if you had more resources, I could have a longer game. Indeed, as an indie team, your support will directly impact the scope of our projects, including future ones, like Crystalline. Alright, I'm moderately interested. How do I help? Patreon, link down below for them. Crowdfunding our next project, Crystalline. Thank you for the info, Dishu Senpai. He knows my name. You have a great day. I think I would almost have preferred to have been rickrolled.